Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover what I like to call Landfill 2.0. I decided to get around and actually make a better body for Landfill. The last time you saw him like this, with a Lego built, Creo built body. I'm those kind of guys, I don't like to glue Lego together. So I decided that I was like, you know what, since I'm not using those Lego bits and pieces like that, I wanted to actually build a body for him. So that way he can actually configure better, stand on the shelf, look a little more presentable. So I decided to scratch build. And yes, I'm talking scratch build. From scratch. No, pre-built pieces, any of that craziness. So, what I've come up with are some new connection methods for these guys. But the first thing I did is I went ahead and I made some feet. And the feet, I actually made a foam core, which worked really well. I actually glued a peg in here as well, so that way they're pretty stable and they're steady. Inside I add a little bit of detail to them with a little bit of paint. So I made a couple feet for him. And yeah, these work pretty well. And then I decided to go ahead and make an entire body for it. Kind of modeling after the MicroMasters that come before it, I decided to actually create a body piece. Now this is my second shot at this. I will end up doing a review of what I like to call Gaia Guardian. And this is the second rendition of the body piece. This is a lot better looking than Gaia Guardians. I will have to show you that in the future. But you can tell I add some decals to it, and it's got a lot of little pegs and ports. It does happen to have a different head sculpt. I did take an old Minosaur head I had laying around and I repainted it to make it fit a little better. The head is articulated, so it does, it plugs in and moves around just like the original heads would. So I'll go ahead and show you how this crazy, insane thing combines. First thing I like to do is take the dump truck guy that I have, and I will pretty much kind of fold him in half, just like this. Straighten it out a little bit. And this will actually plug directly into your chest piece. It's kind of a tight fit, but it's tight enough that it actually holds in there pretty well and don't fall out. So that's that part. Second piece I like to plug in is the crane. The crane just stays in its mode here, and it's got this whole thing here between its this gap here, and I'll actually plug directly over this, just like that, and it doesn't fall out. One thing I do like is the fact that I put these over it, so you don't actually see the robot completely. All you really see is the hook, which is kind of cool. So it gives him a bit of a tail. But it fits in there, tucks in there all nice. So you guys know me. I like to scratch build. So what I did here is I made two different kind of connections here on his feet pieces. This in here specifically for the mixing truck. The mixing truck will actually slide into this little connection piece here and plug directly in, and it holds pretty well. This in here gives me a little bit of problems every now and then, but it actually will go over this little tab. And it will plug directly in over that. Sometimes it likes to give me a little bit of a fit, but I can get it to do that. There we go. Another thing I did, though, I had to actually modify these. I actually had to drill holes into the feet pieces to him so that way you can actually plug the feet portions on him. It's kind of nice. I like the idea that I did this. There we go. Now he's got feet. He can stand up. Now, as for the arms I've actually decided to not really make hands for it because I actually come up with a clever way of doing this. What I do is I fold this out. You can see I got a hole here that will directly plug in over this right here. Then what I'll do is I'll fold out the two arms. Just like so. And it kind of makes a hand actually already, which is kind of cool. I was fiddling around with this for a while, trying to figure out how can I make this work for a hand, but it actually already makes a bit of a hand, which is kind of cool. This is a little loose, but you know what, that's okay. It's not like he's really going to hold anything, it's just he does have a hand already. And I was also able to do the same for this guy. So kind of just unfold him a little bit here. Let me get these arms up out of the way. And I also had to drill another hole right here. And then flip these around, just like so. And one thing I do here is I'll flip out the head. And I'll show you what that's for here in a second. And then this right here will plug directly into there. And then I had this little bit of broken sound wave gun, and I'm like, that actually already looks kind of like a blaster in itself. So what I did is I just shoved it all up in here, just like that, and there we go. He's already got a gun. So now he's got his hands and his guns, he's got his feet. This right here is always kind of cockeyed. I don't know why it does that. There we go. Sometimes I think it's because it's trying to wedge itself out, but this usually sits a lot more straight than that. That kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what he looks like. Let's compare him to another one I'm trying to prototype right now, and this isn't a complete finished thing here, so. But I like to prototype with that frame that I made for the original one. So I've been kind of prototyping how I can do it. But here's a bit of a comparison with how tall he was compared to how tall he is now. He's actually not much taller than an original combiner. One of these original combiners is usually this height. This is awfully short compared to that. So kind of gives you a bit of a comparison there. To give you a real, more or less comparison to something that may be a little more common for you guys out there. Here he is next to one of the G2 reflector guys that I made. So he works very well. I think this is a lot better than the rubber band idea, because this actually plugs on. This is permanent versus a temporary fix. I wanted to do a temporary thing at one time because I was like, you know what, I want to see how this turns out, and I really started liking what I was doing here. But I have so many of these other little Micromaster guys that I was like, I want to do something cool with them. This is a prototype for Gaia Battle. So, and Gaia Battle will be a Decepticon. He is not an Autobot in my G2 fiction. So, you guys out there that are like, oh well, you know, I know what Gaia Guardian is, I know what Gaia Battle is, I know what real Landfill is, but you know what, as far as I'm concerned, this is G2 Landfill. And I think it looks wonderful. And honestly, with all the kind of the upgrade type of stuff I did to this actually works very, very well. As you can tell, I mean, he's got the regular posability like a real Micromaster would. Yes, I know this is, you know, all kind of put together with a little bit of glue and that sort of thing. There we go, I got that flat now. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he looks bad at all. I think he looks pretty wonderful, honestly. And it fits very well in my entire collection. I think he looks good. I think he will actually, he's more striking now, being in more of a brighter color anyway. Considering all the bots are already kind of garish and weird, I think it works very, very well. And if you guys are out there kind of curious of, you know, where did I get all this stuff for these Micromaster combiners, these were knockoffs from about around the mid 2010s or so. You can sometimes find them on eBay, but not that often. Especially this steamroller guy, he's pretty hard to come by. The other ones are kind of a knockoff of something already existed. I know this guy isn't. This guy's a newer mold too, so I'm not really sure where these molds have come from other than somebody created them. These I do know actually come from actual real Micromasters. He did not break, he just popped off. And to be honest, the original ones used to do the same thing. They would kind of slide loose. There we go, fixed, easy. And that's one thing I love about him, is he actually kind of fits in. It's something I put together, very simple. And I kind of like the roughness. The roughness actually kind of shows. He's Landfill. He's made to, you know, look like a dude that's been handling, you know, stuff in a construction yard. That's what he should look like. And he should be a little rougher on the edges. And I like the yellow. The yellow really kind of makes him pop. And it's kind of this kind of a like really bright canary yellow. It's almost a fluorescent, which works very well for G2. And that's one reason why I call him Generation 2 Landfill, because, you know, he's awesome. And I think this is going to look so much better on my shelf compared to the other dweeb that I had here with the crazy chassis. I mean, like I said, this is totally a prototype style. If I could get hold of an actual 3D printer, I obviously would try to 3D print parts like this that would actually work, but I don't have one. I don't have the money for one. I don't have the space for one, and I don't have the correct ventilation, because it's really a difficult thing to get into. So I wanted to show you guys what that was all about. But anyway, this has been Plasticon. This is a quick look at a Landfill 2.0 upgrade, and I'll catch you guys around because I have plenty more coming your way. That's it for now. Bye!